Hey, fifth grade. We've been talking a lot about color, and we're going to continue that, but we're going to talk about something that goes along with color, and that's value. Value is the difference between light and dark. When you mix white with a color, you get a tint. When you mix black with a color, you get a shade. And that's what creates the different values. So what we're going to be working on, we're going to be using color pencil to create different values of the same color. We're going to start in the middle with just the plain color, but then we're going to add a little bit of black, a little bit more black, white, and a little less white, so that this will start to look more three-dimensional. So first we're going to set up our paper. You are going to have 6 squares, and I'm going to show you how to do that. You're definitely going to need a ruler or a straight edge for your paper. So I'm going to start. I know my paper is 9 by 12. So I know I can fit 3 4-inch squares across. So I'm going to mark off where those squares should be. So I'm going to start up here with a little tick mark at 4 and another one at 8. And then I'm going to bring my ruler down to the bottom of my paper, line it up with the edge of the paper so I know it's in the right place. Put a little tick at 4 and 8. That way, when I turn my paper this way, let's move these out of the way, shall we? There we go. Now I can see it all. I'm going to line up those 2 little tick marks I made and go across. Same for this side. Line those up. Okay, and now I need to do 4 inches, since it's a square, and my paper is 9 inches wide, so I'm going to make a mark at 4, I'm going to skip an inch, and at 5, and then I'll have 2 4-inch squares on each one. So I'm going to come down to this line, put a mark at 4, and one at 5, turn my paper horizontal, line those babies up, do the same thing for these 2 tick marks. Alright, now, this middle part, we'll just ignore it. The way we get our smaller square in the center is we're going to make an X, and we're going to do this lightly, because we're going to erase some of these lines. So very lightly, drawing a diagonal line from one corner to that corner, and then from this corner to this corner. Okay, now I'm going to find where these 2 diagonal lines intersect at 2 inches. So I have to come down a little bit lower, right about there. So I'm going to connect that right there. Boop. Turn my paper, connect this one. Don't worry if it's not perfect. And then come back around to these. There. Okay, now I don't need this lines in the lines in the middle. I only need the square and these lines to create the 4 sections. Okay. So now, after you do that for all 6 of your squares, let me grab mine. Switch that out. Let me do it one more time, just to show you. So I'm diagonal line from corner to corner, very lightly with the pencil, corner to corner, and then we're going to create a square. I need a shorter ruler. Voila. Okay. There's 2 inches, about 2 inches. Connect. 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 Boom. Okay. Erase my center. Alright. So, for this you're going to need your black color pencil, your white color pencil, and then 6 different colors. You could do purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. If you have other colors, you can use those too. But the first thing we're going to start with in the middle is just the plain color, just the hue of red. And you're going to color that in nice and dark. Remember how I showed you on your radial name design how if you color and press a little bit harder, my hand is closer to the end of my color pencil right now, which allows me to create more pressure with my pencil to get those nice dark colors with my color pencils. Now you have to do this project with a color pencil because you cannot do the same thing with a marker. Marker is made with ink and we don't have white markers to blend. There are such things, but we don't have those in our art room, and I'm pretty sure you guys don't have any at home. So for now we just need to stick with color pencils because I want to teach you guys how to blend. If we were at school we would do this with paint, but learning how to do it with color pencil isn't bad either. Okay, so I got my center square colored red. Now, here's a trick. When you're coloring with your color pencil, if your hand is close to the bottom, you're going to apply more pressure. If you move your hand further up and maybe even hold it like a wizard wand, you get more surface area and you don't have as much pressure on your pencil. So, we're going to start with the darkest first. And I'm putting the dark on the same side, on the left of the red. So I'm going to start by adding some black. I'm not adding it very dark, but I am making it solid, so it's not, I don't see a lot of lines in my coloring. Directional lines, right? Oh, okay, now I can take my red and blend it on top. If I press a little bit harder, it'll make it darker. If I go over it in multiple layers, it'll also make it darker. That's the beauty of color pencils, is they're good for blending and layering color. I'm moving my paper, instead of trying to move my wrist in a direction it's not meant to go, it's a lot easier just to move your paper. So I want this a little bit darker because my other one's going to be with black, just not as dark. I could even maybe come in and add a little bit more black on top where I could still see the red. I don't want the red to disappear. I'm just trying to make it a darker shade of red. Alright, and then this bottom one is going to be with black again, but again, this is going to be lighter than this one. So I'm going to go even lighter with my black this time. And just lay down a little color and then put the red on top. Do you notice the difference in value? How the one on the left is darker than the one on the bottom? But it's still darker. This one will have more red than black, and this one will have a little bit more black than red. Alright, now we're going to do the white, the lightest side. We're going to make a tint. Now, you can do the white first. You might not see it very well because white paper, white color pencil, right? So just try your best to cover that area with the white. If you miss a spot, you'll figure it out later. Alright, now I'm going to take my red and go on top of it. This is the lightest side, so I don't want to press really hard with my color pencil. And that white is actually lightening up my red and making a tint. Nice and light. So for this side, the top, which is still mixed with white to make a tint, I'm going to start with red. I want this edge to be darker than that one. I'm going to put the red down lightly, and then I'm going to put some white on top. Ooh, excuse me. The white kind of blends it nicely together and burnishes it. Okay, so you're going to do this for each square with a different hue. I'm going to fast forward this part and show you the finished project when I'm done. Alright guys, I've done all 6 squares with 6 different colors. I've got the regular hue, darkest, less dark, lightest, less light. So, tints and shades of the same color. That creates that 3D effect, and that's what value does for an artist. I can't wait to see you guys and what you create for me next week. I look forward to seeing you.